America is home to many cities where history refuses to rest in peace. From old battlefields and forgotten cemeteries to burned buildings and tragic pasts, these haunted cities are filled with ghostly stories. People report seeing shadows, hearing whispers, and feeling strange presences. Each city carries dark secrets from wars, disasters, and lost lives, making them some of the most haunted places in America. Now we will visit the most haunted cities in America and why these cities are so haunted. Number 1. New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans, Louisiana is often called the most haunted city in America because its history is filled with tragedy, mystery, and strong spiritual beliefs. Founded in 1718, the city has survived fires, floods, deadly diseases, slavery, wars, and hurricanes. Thousands of people suffered and died here, and many believe their spirits never left. New Orleans is also famous for voodoo, hoodoo, and deep-rooted religious traditions, which locals say keep the spirit world close to the living. The French Quarter is the heart of New Orleans hauntings. Old buildings stand on centuries of history, and many were once hospitals, prisons, or homes where people died in pain. Visitors often report seeing shadow figures, hearing footsteps at night, and feeling cold spots. One of the most famous haunted places is the La Laurie Mansion. In the 1800s, Madame Delphine La Laurie secretly tortured and enslaved people inside her home. When the truth was discovered, the house was abandoned. Even today, people claim to hear screams, chains, and cries coming from the empty rooms. Another well-known haunted place is the Sultan's Palace on Dauphine Street. In the 1830s, a wealthy foreign man lived there with a group of women. One night, neighbors heard screams. Days later, bodies were found inside the house. Locals say the spirits of the women still appear on balconies and staircases, dressed in old clothing. St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 is also deeply haunted. Above-ground tombs fill the cemetery, including the grave of Voodoo Queen Marie Laveau. Visitors leave offerings, and many believe her spirit still grants wishes. People report seeing ghostly figures moving between the tombs and hearing whispers after sunset. The old Ursuline Convent, one of the oldest buildings in the Mississippi Valley, is said to be haunted by nuns and orphan girls who died during yellow fever outbreaks. Lights are seen turning on by themselves, and soft singing is sometimes heard late at night. The Bourbon Orleans Hotel, once a convent and orphanage, is another haunted location. Guests report seeing children in hallways and a woman in a long white dress dancing in empty rooms. These true stories, passed down for generations, are why New Orleans remains the most haunted city in America. Number 2. Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia is often called one of the most haunted cities in America because of its long, painful history and the way the city was built. Founded in 1733, Savannah faced deadly wars, fires, slavery, and powerful yellow fever outbreaks. Many people died suddenly and were buried quickly, often beneath homes, streets, and public squares. Locals believe these disturbed graves are one reason spirits still wander the city today. Savannah's historic district is filled with cobblestone streets and old buildings that hide dark pasts. One of the most famous haunted places is the Sorrelweed House. Built in the 1840s, the home saw tragic deaths, including the suicide of Matilda Sorrel and the death of a young enslaved girl. Visitors report seeing full-body apparitions, shadow figures, and hearing voices inside the house. Many investigators consider it one of the most actively haunted homes in America. Another well-known haunted location is Moon River Brewing Company, originally built as a hotel in the early 1800s. Guests and staff have reported being pushed, touched, and scratched by unseen forces. Children's laughter and moving objects are commonly reported on the upper floors. Paranormal teams have captured strange sounds and shadowy figures during investigations. The Marshall House, once a Civil War hospital, is another terrifying sight. Soldiers lost limbs and lives inside the building. Guests have reported seeing ghostly soldiers, smelling rotting flesh, and hearing footsteps in empty hallways. Some have even found bloodstains reappearing on floors and walls. Colonial Park Cemetery is also deeply haunted. British soldiers disturbed graves during the Revolutionary War, leaving many remains unmarked. Visitors claim to see glowing orbs, ghostly figures, and hear whispering voices at night. The old Pink House, built in 1771, is haunted by former owners and enslaved workers. Staff report lights turning on by themselves and spirits moving through walls. These true stories, passed down through generations, makes Savannah a city where the past never rests. With spirits believed to walk its squares, homes, and cemeteries, Savannah truly earns its reputation as one of the most haunted cities in America. Number 3. Salem, Massachusetts. Salem, Massachusetts is known as one of the most haunted cities in America because of its dark and tragic past. Founded in 1626, Salem became forever linked to fear and suffering during the 1692 witch trials. During this time, innocent men and women were accused of witchcraft, imprisoned, tortured, and executed. Many believe the pain, injustice, and sudden deaths left behind restless spirits that still haunt the city today. One of the most famous haunted places in Salem is the Witch House, once home to Judge Jonathan Corwin, who played a major role in the witch trials. Visitors report cold spots, moving objects, and the feeling of being watched. Some claim to hear whispers and footsteps inside the old rooms late at night, even when the house is empty. The Old Burying Point Cemetery, also known as Charter Street Cemetery, is another deeply haunted site. Several people connected to the witch trials are buried there. Visitors say they have seen shadowy figures, glowing orbs, and misty shapes moving among the gravestones after dark. Many feel sudden sadness or fear when standing near certain graves. The Joshua Ward House is believed to stand near the location of Salem's original jail, where accused witches were held in horrible conditions. Guests report seeing ghostly figures, hearing chains, and sensing strong emotional energy. Some believe the spirits of the imprisoned still cry out for justice. Salem Jail, now part of the Peabody Essex Museum, is also said to be haunted. Former prisoners were kept in overcrowded, dark cells. Staff and visitors have reported unexplained noises, cold air, and shadow figures moving through the building. The House of the Seven Gables is another famous haunted location. Built in 1668, the home has a long history of death and sorrow. People claim to hear footsteps, doors opening, and quiet voices, especially at night. Some believe spirits of former residents still walk the halls. Gallows Hill, where many accused witches were executed, is considered one of the most powerful haunted areas in Salem. Visitors report heavy feelings, sudden chills, and ghostly shapes in the darkness. These true stories and haunted places make Salem a city where history still lingers. The spirits of the innocent, wronged, and forgotten are believed to remain, giving Salem its lasting reputation as one of the most haunted cities in America. Number 4. Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston, South Carolina is often called one of the most haunted cities in America because of its long history filled with war, slavery, disease, and tragedy. Founded in 1670, Charleston was a major port city where countless enslaved people arrived, suffered, and died. The city also endured fires, hurricanes, pirate attacks, and deadly outbreaks of yellow fever. Many believe the pain and loss from these events left spirits trapped between the past and the present. One of Charleston's most haunted places is the Old City Jail. Built in 1802, it once held pirates, criminals, and enslaved people. Many prisoners died from disease and torture. Visitors and staff report hearing screams, footsteps, and voices echoing through empty cells. Some claim to see shadow figures standing behind bars or pacing hallways late at night. The Battery Carriage House, now a popular inn, is another well-known haunted location. It is said to be haunted by several ghosts, including former residents and enslaved workers. Guests report doors opening on their own, cold spots, and apparitions appearing near beds and windows. The Dock Street Theater, one of the oldest theaters in America, is haunted by two spirits. One is believed to be Junius Brutus Booth, a famous actor who once performed there. The other is a woman known as Nettie, a former prostitute. Actors and staff often hear footsteps on the stage, see figures in the balcony, and feel sudden chills. White Point Garden, located near the harbor, is also haunted. During public executions in the 1700s and 1800s, criminals and pirates were hanged here. Visitors report seeing shadowy figures among the trees and feeling intense unease after sunset. The Provost Dungeon, once used to hold prisoners during the Revolutionary War, is another terrifying sight. British soldiers kept prisoners in dark, cramped conditions. Today, people report hearing moans, whispers, and chains dragging across the floor. Magnolia Cemetery is known for ghostly sightings, including Confederate soldiers and grieving women dressed in black. Strange lights, moving shadows are often seen at night. These true haunted stories, passed down through generations, make Charleston a city where history refuses to rest. Its haunted buildings, streets, and cemeteries continue to attract those seeking proof that the past is still alive. Number 5. St. Augustine, Florida. St. Augustine, Florida, is often called the most haunted city in America because it is the oldest continuously inhabited European settlement in the United States. Founded in 1565, the city has witnessed centuries of war, executions, disease, slavery, and suffering. Over hundreds of years, thousands of soldiers, prisoners, Native Americans, and civilians died here. Many believe their spirits never left, making St. Augustine a city where the past is always close. One of the most famous haunted places in St. Augustine is Castillo di San Marcos. This massive stone fort was the site of many brutal battles and imprisonments. Visitors and park rangers report hearing cannon fire, footsteps, and voices echoing through the corridors at night. Some have seen ghostly soldiers standing on the walls or pacing the courtyard after dark. The old jail, built in 1891, is another terrifying location. Prisoners were chained, beaten, and sometimes executed inside its walls. Tour guides and visitors report cold spots, moving objects, and the sound of cell doors slamming on their own. Many claim to feel sudden fear or sadness when standing in former execution areas. The old lighthouse is also deeply haunted. Several people, including young girls, died during its construction in the 1800s. Visitors often hear children laughing, see handprints appear on walls, and spot shadow figures climbing the stairs. Paranormal investigators have captured strange voices and unexplained movements inside the lighthouse. The St. Augustine Lighthouse Keeper's house is haunted by former residents. A man believed to be a former lighthouse keeper is seen watching visitors from windows. Furniture has been reported to move on its own, and footsteps are heard in empty rooms. The Spanish Military Hospital Museum is another haunted site. Soldiers once suffered painful medical treatments without anesthesia. Guests report smelling strange odors, hearing moans, and seeing figures dressed in old medical clothing. Huguenot Cemetery, where victims of yellow fever and war are buried, is known for ghostly sightings, glowing orbs, and sudden cold air. These true stories and haunted locations make St. Augustine a city filled with restless spirits. With over 450 years of pain and history, it remains one of the most haunted cities in America. Number 6. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania is often called one of the most haunted cities in America because it was the site of the bloodiest battle of the Civil War. In July 1863, more than 50,000 soldiers were killed, wounded, or went missing during the Battle of Gettysburg. The land was soaked with suffering, pain, and sudden death. Many bodies were buried quickly in shallow graves, and some were never found. Locals believe the spirits of fallen soldiers still walk the fields where they died. One of the most haunted places in Gettysburg is Gettysburg National Military Park. Visitors and park rangers report seeing full-body apparitions of soldiers marching through the mist. Gunshots, cannon fire, and battle cries are often heard late at night when the park is quiet. Some visitors claim to have been approached by a soldier asking for water, only to vanish moments later. Devil's Den is another terrifying location. This rocky area saw intense fighting and many violent deaths. People report seeing a ghostly soldier in a floppy hat who points toward Plum Run Creek. Others hear footsteps and voices echoing among the rocks, even when no one else is present. The Farnsworth House Inn, once used by Confederate sharpshooters, is filled with bullet holes from the battle. Guests report being touched, pushed, and awakened by unseen forces. The spirit of a young Confederate soldier is said to wander the halls, reliving his final moments. Sacks-covered bridge is known for sightings of hanging soldiers and phantom lights. Witnesses report seeing ghostly figures marching across the bridge and hearing screams carried by the wind at night. The Jenny Wade House is one of the most famous haunted homes in Gettysburg. Jenny Wade was the only civilian killed during the battle when a bullet struck her while she was baking bread. Visitors report seeing her spirit, smelling fresh bread, and feeling sudden cold spots inside the house. Evergreen Cemetery is another haunted site where visitors hear whispers, footsteps, and unexplained cries after dark. These true stories, passed down through generations, make Gettysburg a place where history never rests. The spirits of soldiers, civilians, and victims of war are believed to remain, giving Gettysburg its powerful reputation as one of America's most haunted cities. Number 7. New York City, New York. New York City, New York is often called one of the most haunted cities in America because of its long, crowded, and often tragic history. Built over centuries of war, disease, fires, crime, and hardship, millions of people lived and died here under painful conditions. Old burial grounds, forgotten hospitals, prisons, and hidden tunnels lie beneath the modern city. Many believe these restless spirits still move through New York streets, buildings, and subways. One of the most famous haunted places in New York City is the Dakota Building. This historic apartment building is known for ghostly sightings, especially the spirit of a young girl and other former residents. After the murder of John Lennon outside the building, some claim his presence has also been felt. Residents report seeing apparitions and hearing footsteps in empty hallways. The Merchants House Museum is considered one of the most haunted homes in America. Built in 1832, it remains unchanged since the 1800s. The spirit of Gertrude Treadwell, who lived and died there, is often seen wearing a long dress. Visitors report hearing her voice, seeing her shadow, and feeling sudden cold air. The Morris Jumel Mansion, Manhattan's oldest house, is haunted by former owners and soldiers. It once served as George Washington's headquarters. Visitors report seeing a woman in period clothing, believed to be Eliza Jumel, wandering the halls. St. Mark's Church in the Bowery sits on land that once belonged to Dutch settlers. Its cemetery is known for strange lights, shadow figures, and whispering voices after dark. The House of Death on West 10th Street is infamous for numerous deaths, including that of writer Mark Twain's family members. Neighbors report seeing dark figures in windows and hearing footsteps in empty rooms. The Empire State Building has also had ghost sightings. After many deaths during construction and tragic accidents, security guards have reported strange feelings, voices, and shadowy figures late at night. Grand Central Terminal is another haunted location. Workers and commuters report seeing figures dressed in old uniforms and hearing unexplained footsteps along the tracks. These true stories make New York City a place where the past refuses to disappear. Beneath its bright lights and busy streets, countless spirits are believed to remain, giving New York its chilling reputation as one of America's most haunted cities. Number 8. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, Illinois is considered one of the most haunted cities in America because of its violent and tragic history. Founded in the 1800s, the city has seen deadly fires, gang wars, murders, and countless accidents. Many people died suddenly in violent ways, and some buildings, streets, and sites are said to hold the energy of these restless spirits. From abandoned hospitals to old theaters, Chicago is full of haunted places that tell dark stories of the past. One of the most famous haunted locations is the Congress Plaza Hotel. Built in 1893, it has been the site of multiple deaths, including suicides and mysterious incidents. Guests and staff report seeing shadowy figures in hallways, hearing strange noises at night, and feeling sudden cold spots. Some even claim to see ghosts sitting in old chairs in empty rooms. The Resurrection Cemetery is known for the ghost of Resurrection Mary, a young woman who died in a car accident in the 1930s. Drivers along Archer Avenue have reported seeing a woman in a white dress walking or hitchhiking late at night. Many say she vanishes suddenly when approached. The Hull House, a historic settlement founded by Jane Addams, is haunted by former residents and children. Visitors report hearing laughter, doors opening and closing on their own, and shadowy figures moving through the halls. The Biograph Theater is infamous because gangster John Dillinger was shot by the FBI outside the building in 1934. Witnesses claim to see his spirit roaming the theater and surrounding streets at night. The Lying-in Hospital, an old maternity hospital, is said to be haunted by babies and nurses who died there. Visitors hear crying footsteps and see apparitions of women in old nurse uniforms. The Congress Theater has also earned a reputation for hauntings. Former workers and visitors report seeing shadow figures in the balcony, hearing voices, and doors opening by themselves. The Congress Parkway and old prisons in the city are said to hold spirits of criminals and wrongly executed people. Some report hearing moans, chains, and seeing figures in the dark. These true stories and haunted sites make Chicago a city where the past never fully rests. The energy of tragic events, violent deaths, and restless spirits gives it a chilling reputation as one of America's most haunted cities. Number 9. San Francisco, California. San Francisco, California, is known as one of the most haunted cities in America because of its long and tragic history. Founded in 1776, the city has seen earthquakes, fires, deadly epidemics, murders, and countless tragedies. Many people died suddenly or violently, and their spirits are said to linger in historic buildings, streets, and hidden tunnels. From old hotels and prisons to Victorian homes and theaters, San Francisco is filled with haunted locations and chilling stories. One of the most famous haunted places is Alcatraz Island. Once a federal prison, Alcatraz housed notorious criminals like Al Capone and George Machine Gun Kelly. Prisoners often died in harsh conditions, and guards reported hearing footsteps, doors slamming, and ghostly voices in empty cells. Visitors claim to see shadowy figures and hear strange sounds echoing through the dark halls at night. The Queen Anne Hotel, built in 1890, is haunted by the spirit of Miss Mary Lake, a former schoolteacher who died mysteriously in the building. Guests report seeing her ghost in old classrooms, hearing soft singing, and feeling sudden cold spots in empty hallways. The Golden Gate Park Music Concourse is haunted by performers and visitors who died during concerts and accidents. People report seeing apparitions, hearing ghostly music, and experiencing unexplained footsteps at night. The Presidio, a former military base, is home to numerous haunted sites, including old officers' quarters and hospitals. Soldiers and patients who died here are said to still roam the grounds. Visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures, hearing disembodied voices, and feeling sudden chills. The Fairmont Hotel, built in 1907, survived the massive earthquake and fire. Guests report ghost sightings in rooms, furniture moving on its own, and strange noises in empty corridors. The Queen Anne Victorian houses in San Francisco are also known for hauntings. Many of these homes were sites of violent deaths, suicides, or tragic accidents. Residents report seeing ghostly figures in windows, hearing footsteps, and experiencing strange, cold drafts. San Francisco Theater District is haunted as well. Old theaters have spirits of performers who died tragically or were buried under the city during construction. Shadow figures, whispers, and phantom applause are often reported. These true stories and haunted locations make San Francisco a city where history and tragedy live on. With its restless spirits, ghostly sightings, and unexplained events, it remains one of America's most haunted cities. Number 10. San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio, Texas, is known as one of the most haunted cities in America because of its rich and often tragic history. Founded in 1718, the city has witnessed wars, deadly epidemics, battles for independence, and countless violent deaths. Many people lost their lives at forts, missions, and on the streets, leaving restless spirits behind. With its centuries-old buildings, historic missions, and narrow alleyways, San Antonio is a hotspot for ghost stories and paranormal activity. One of the most haunted places is the Alamo, where hundreds of soldiers died during the 1836 battle for Texas independence. Visitors report hearing screams, gunfire, and ghostly footsteps in the chapel and surrounding grounds. Some have claimed to see shadowy soldiers reenacting the battle or appearing near the old cannon placements. The Menger Hotel, built in 1859, is another famous haunted location. Guests have reported seeing the ghost of a former owner, Sally White, and other apparitions in the hallways. Some claim to hear children laughing in empty rooms and doors opening or closing by themselves. The Spanish Governor's Palace, once home to colonial governors, is haunted by the spirits of people who died there during revolts and skirmishes. Visitors often feel sudden cold spots, hear whispers, and see shadow figures moving along the old corridors. The Emily Morgan Hotel, near the Alamo, is known for its paranormal activity. Originally a medical building, it saw countless deaths, including patients and staff. Guests have reported seeing figures in old hospital uniforms, hearing footsteps, and experiencing sudden chills in rooms where no one is present. The San Fernando Cathedral, one of the oldest churches in the country, is also haunted. People report seeing ghostly monks and parishioners, hearing strange chanting, and witnessing unexplained shadows moving along the aisles. The Spanish Mission San Jose is another historic site said to be haunted. Spirits of Native Americans and Spanish settlers are believed to wander the grounds, with witnesses reporting strange noises, voices, and sudden cold drafts in the old stone buildings. The La Valita Historic Arts Village, once home to working-class families, has reports of ghost sightings and mysterious footsteps in alleyways at night. These true stories and haunted locations make San Antonio a city where the past never fully rests. The spirits of soldiers, settlers, patients, and everyday people are believed to remain, giving San Antonio its reputation as one of America's most haunted cities. Number 11. Jerome, Arizona. Jerome, Arizona is often called one of the most haunted cities in America because of its dramatic history as a mining town. Founded in the late 1800s, Jerome was once home to thousands of miners working in dangerous conditions. Mining accidents, fires, and disease caused many sudden deaths, and the town's steep streets and abandoned buildings still hold the energy of these tragedies. After the mines closed, Jerome became a nearly deserted ghost town, leaving behind empty homes and businesses where restless spirits are said to linger. One of the most famous haunted locations is the Jerome Grand Hotel, built in 1926 as the United Verdi Hospital. Many patients died there, and when it became a hotel, guests reported hearing footsteps, doors opening and closing, and seeing shadowy figures in the hallways. Some even claimed to see apparitions of nurses and former patients walking through empty rooms late at night. The Sliding Jail, a small jail built on a hill, is another haunted site. Because of the unstable ground, the building slowly slid down the hill over the years. Prisoners once held there reportedly died in harsh conditions. Visitors report hearing screams, footsteps, and seeing shadow figures moving inside and around the old jail. The Gold King Mine is said to be haunted by miners who died in accidents deep underground. People exploring the area report hearing ghostly voices, tools dropping on their own, and eerie glowing lights inside the abandoned tunnels. The Jerome Historical Society and Museum is also known for paranormal activity. Some claim to see shadowy figures of past residents and hear whispers in empty rooms. The Connor Hotel, one of Jerome's oldest hotels, has reports of guests waking up to see apparitions of miners and former guests. Strange noises, flickering lights, and cold spots are common experiences reported by visitors. The Haunted Doll of Jerome, a local legend, tells of a doll left in an abandoned home that moves on its own and has been seen in different parts of the house. These true stories and haunted locations make Jerome a city where the past is never truly gone. The spirits of miners, patients, prisoners, and residents are believed to remain, giving Jerome its reputation as one of America's most haunted cities, and attracting ghost hunters and curious travelers from all over the country. Number 12. Key West, Florida. Key West, Florida is considered one of the most haunted cities in America because of its long history of shipwrecks, pirates, deadly storms, and tragic deaths. Settled in the early 1800s, the city was a busy port where sailors, merchants, and residents faced sudden violence, disease, and accidents. Many people died far from home, and locals believe their spirits never left. The island's historic homes, hotels, and streets are filled with ghost stories, making Key West a hotspot for paranormal activity. One of the most famous haunted locations is the Ernest Hemingway Home and Museum. Hemingway lived here in the 1930s, and the house is said to be haunted by the author himself, former servants, and even the six-toed cats that roamed the property. Visitors report seeing shadowy figures, hearing footsteps when no one is there, and feeling sudden chills in empty rooms. The Key West Lighthouse and Keeper's Quarters is another terrifying sight. Built in 1847, several lighthouse keepers and their families reportedly died under tragic circumstances. Guests and visitors report hearing footsteps on the stairs, ghostly whispers, and the presence of unseen figures moving through the tower and living quarters. The Audubon House in Tropical Gardens is haunted by spirits of former owners and workers. Guests have reported seeing shadowy figures in the gardens at night and hearing soft voices echoing through the historic home. The West Martello Tower, once a military fort, is haunted by soldiers who died during its use in the Civil War. People have reported seeing apparitions dressed in old military uniforms and hearing sounds of marching and gunfire when no one is present. The Old City Cemetery is filled with graves of pirates, sailors, and local residents who died from disease and hurricanes. Visitors often report ghostly figures, glowing orbs, and whispers late at night. The Curry Mansion, now a bed and breakfast, is said to be haunted by previous owners. Guests report objects moving on their own, footsteps in empty hallways, and seeing shadowy figures in mirrors and corners. These true stories and haunted locations make Key West a city where the past never fully rests. From pirates to writers, sailors to soldiers, many spirits are believed to still wander the streets, homes, and historic sites. This rich history of tragedy and mystery gives Key West its reputation as one of America's most haunted cities. Number 13. Boston, Massachusetts. Boston, Massachusetts, is considered one of the most haunted cities in America because of its long and violent history. Founded in 1630, Boston has seen wars, executions, epidemics, fires, and countless tragic deaths. The city played a major role in the American Revolution, and many soldiers, civilians, and prisoners died violently, leaving restless spirits behind. Old buildings, streets, and cemeteries are said to hold the memories of these tragic events, making Boston a hotspot for paranormal activity. One of the most famous haunted locations is the Omni Parker House Hotel, built in 1855. Guests report seeing shadow figures, hearing unexplained footsteps and doors opening and closing by themselves. Some believe the spirits of former staff and guests who died in the hotel still roam the hallways, especially on the upper floors. The Boston Common is another haunted site. As the oldest public park in America, it was used as a place for public hangings during colonial times. Visitors report seeing ghostly figures near the old gallows area, feeling sudden chills, and hearing whispering voices at night. The Old State House is haunted by colonial-era spirits. Some claim to see apparitions of men and women in period clothing, hear the sound of old doors creaking, and feel sudden cold spots in empty rooms. Granary Burying Ground is one of Boston's oldest cemeteries, where patriots like Paul Revere and Samuel Adams are buried. Visitors report seeing glowing orbs, shadow figures, and hearing unexplained footsteps or whispering voices among the gravestones. The Warren Tavern, a historic pub, is haunted by soldiers from the Revolutionary War and former patrons. Guests often report strange noises, chairs moving on their own, and cold spots in empty rooms. Hauntings House, an old abandoned mansion, is said to be haunted by previous owners. People report hearing footsteps, doors opening, and shadowy figures appearing in windows and hallways. The Charles Street Jail, now converted into apartments, was once home to dangerous criminals. Many spirits are said to remain, with visitors reporting sudden noises, cold drafts, and shadowy figures in cells. These true stories and haunted locations make Boston a city where the past never truly rests. With spirits of patriots, prisoners, soldiers, and civilians believed to wander its streets, cemeteries, and historic buildings, Boston has earned a chilling reputation as one of America's most haunted cities. Number 14. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is considered one of the most haunted cities in America because of its long history of war, disease, executions, and tragic deaths. Founded in 1682, Philadelphia was central to the American Revolution, serving as the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. The city's streets, old buildings, and cemeteries are filled with stories of soldiers, prisoners, and ordinary citizens who died violently or tragically, leaving restless spirits behind. One of the most famous haunted locations is Eastern State Penitentiary, a historic prison built in 1829. Inmates endured harsh conditions, solitary confinement, and torture. Many died inside its walls. Visitors and ghost hunters report shadowy figures, disembodied voices, and strange footsteps echoing through empty cell blocks. Some have captured cold spots and unexplained lights on camera. The Betsy Ross House, home of the woman credited with sewing the first American flag, is also haunted. Staff and visitors report seeing shadow figures, hearing footsteps, and experiencing sudden chills, believed to be the spirits of past residents or Revolutionary-era visitors. Howell House, an 18th-century mansion, is haunted by former owners and guests. Apparitions in period clothing, whispering voices, and moving objects are often reported by visitors, especially in the main hallways and dining rooms. Christ Church Burial Ground holds the graves of prominent figures such as Benjamin Franklin. Many visitors report ghostly figures, glowing orbs, and strange sensations while walking among the old tombstones. The Franklin Hotel, a historic building, is haunted by past guests. People report hearing footsteps, doors opening by themselves, and shadowy figures appearing in hallways and empty rooms. Mutter Museum, famous for its medical oddities, is believed to be haunted by spirits of patients and doctors from the past. Visitors have reported hearing whispers, seeing apparitions, and feeling cold drafts in areas with old medical equipment. Girard College, a historic school, is also haunted. Apparitions of former students and staff have been reported in the dormitories and hallways, along with unexplained noises and moving objects. These true stories and haunted locations make Philadelphia a city where the past still lingers. With ghosts of soldiers, prisoners, residents, and historical figures believed to roam its streets and buildings, Philadelphia has earned a lasting reputation as one of America's most haunted cities. Number 15. St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri is often called one of the most haunted cities in America because of its long history of tragedy, violence, and mysterious deaths. Founded in 1764, The city has witnessed wars, fires, epidemics, and countless murders. Many people died suddenly or violently, leaving restless spirits behind. From historic mansions and cemeteries to abandoned hospitals and theaters, St. Louis is filled with haunted locations and chilling stories that continue to attract ghost hunters and curious visitors. One of the most famous haunted places is the Lemp Mansion, home to the Lemp family, who were wealthy brewers in the 1800s. The family suffered several tragic deaths, including multiple suicides. Guests report seeing shadowy figures, hearing unexplained whispers, and experiencing objects moving on their own. Some even claim to see the spirits of the Lemp family members walking the halls. The Lemp Brewery, once the site of the family's beer production, is also haunted. Workers and visitors have reported ghostly apparitions of men in old clothing, strange noises, and sudden cold spots. Paranormal investigators have captured disembodied voices in the basement areas. The Missouri History Museum is haunted by spirits from the 19th and early 20th centuries. Visitors report seeing figures dressed in old-fashioned attire, hearing whispers in empty rooms, and feeling sudden chills. Bellefontaine Cemetery, one of the oldest cemeteries in St. Louis, is known for ghost sightings. Many visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures, glowing orbs, and misty shapes moving among the historic tombs after dark. The St. Louis Theater District has several haunted theaters, including the historic Fox Theater. Actors and staff report hearing phantom footsteps, seeing ghostly figures on stage, and doors opening or closing on their own. The old St. Louis Insane Asylum, now demolished, was said to be haunted by former patients. People reported hearing screams, seeing shadowy figures, and feeling cold drafts in abandoned hallways. The Campbell House Museum, a historic 19th century mansion, is also haunted. Visitors report seeing apparitions, hearing footsteps in empty rooms, and feeling sudden cold spots. These true stories and haunted locations make St. Louis a city where the past never fully rests. The spirits of the Lemp family, soldiers, patients, and ordinary residents are believed to remain, giving St. Louis its chilling reputation as one of America's most haunted cities.